Hey everybody. Now I'm going to say it because I've made David say it twice. Let's talk comics.
It's always worse when you say it. Maybe I'll just say it every time and steal it from you.
Steal it. You can't steal it. It's out there now. It's a thing. You created a Facebook page for it.
Do not make me say why I've created a Facebook page. I will embarrass you. All right, guys. So we are nearing the end of our DC Comics deep dives in our efforts to bring you up to continuity. And I'm putting this out just on the YouTube side purposefully. And we're gonna remember to hit the record button this time. I'm super excited to actually remember that.
You sure?
Fist of Kanchu. And so, I think that you guys are enjoying deep dives. So what I'm going to ask of you is subscribe to us on YouTube, follow our podcast where you can, but reach out to us, whether it's through Facebook, Instagram, the website, our email, whatever you prefer. You can find me on Facebook, message me personally. I don't care. Tell us what you want us to deep dive next. So we've got Heroes in Crisis we're going to do today. Then we're going to do Flash Forward, and that brings us current in the DC Universe, which means we're going to read all of Dark Knight's Death Metal, and then right after that last issue hits, we'll do a recap episode. But we want to keep doing deep dive type stuff. So, do you want us to deep dive Robert Kirkman's Invincible? I'll read 144 issues of a comic if that's what you want me to do. Just give me a couple of months to get caught up. Do you want us to deep dive Saga? Do you want us to deep dive Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? What do you want to see? What events do you want to see going forward? Do we need to back up and do this for some of the Marvel Universe stuff, which I don't think is necessary?
How many of you actually read Crisis on Infinite Earths? That's a fantastic line, and it's a great deep dive. Quite frankly, it's one of my favorite stories DC's ever done.
I consider it the jumping on point of the modern DC universe.
Yes, very much so.
I think you can grab Watchmen, Dark Knight Returns, and Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yep, and just go forward.
And just go forward from there, and you will be very deeply, scholarly, almost versed in the DC universe.
Yeah.
So
if you know why Supergirl died, you know why Flash died. If you understand those things, you've have a
you've got it.
Yeah, you really do. So anyway, so let's talk about Heroes in Crisis a little bit. So
careful.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
All right. And by the way, guys, this is not going to be a very long show.
It can be summed up pretty quickly.
Yeah. Hi, guys. I'm David.
And I'm Garin.
And we are the Print and Panel Podcast. And today we are doing a deep dive. If you watch our YouTube channel, the How Did We Get Here series from DC Comics, we are covering Tom King and Clay Mann's Heroes in Crisis. Now, this is a very sentimental book.
It is. It's, one thing about Tom King, this is the really cool thing about him, is he has made some epic things. Mr. Miracle, he's now doing Strange Adventures.
I was going to bring up Mr. Miracle and I get salty.
You have issue 1, just go get the rest of the issues. I can probably order first printings of everything for you right now.
Can't a brother just get a trade paperback?
You can. No, we'll get one. Anyway, but with Heroes in Crisis, he really kind of, I don't know if this is his opus masterpiece, but this is a pretty fantastic book.
So he was, and I don't know, I haven't researched Tom King. He was military/CIA?
Yes.
I don't know, and I'm sorry, Tom King. I apologize for not knowing your biography there. I feel I owe it to you, given how badly I bashed Batman Volume 1. But Tom King wrote something here that is more mature, and it takes a look at superheroes in a way that I don't think we were ready to take a look at superheroes.
Yeah.
And one of the functions of a writer is to parallel reality and evoke emotion and thought.
Right. And it's also to shine a light where it needs to be shined. Literally, I mean, that's he literally is shining a light on something that we really kind of take for granted when we look at superheroes. Because the superheroes, they take the cape off, they go to bed, they wake up the next day, they're superheroes again.
Yeah.
Well,
and they do this infinitely forever.
Right. And that's really not the case. Even superheroes experience pain, they experience loss.
And sometimes and I have experienced this, it is much easier to heal from a stab or a bullet than it is to heal from an emotional loss.
Right, psychological trauma.
That changes who you are.
Right.
So the core message behind this book, and it's very well illustrated through all 9 issues, is every hero, real world or otherwise, experiences some form of PTSD, some sort of trauma that carries on with them going forward. And it's very, very well done. Now, here's the thing I will say. You should read this. You should absolutely pick up the issues or the trade and read Heroes in Crisis. Even if you're not a DC fan, which I don't know why you'd be listening to this episode if you're not a DC fan, but if you are, this is a really good read because it is a really well-approached subject matter. Now,
so to start off, Sanctuary has
hold
been
on.
Okay, no.
Hold on. I hate to interrupt you, but I can sum this comic up in about 2.5 minutes.
I was going to say how
No,
it started.
it's not necessary.
Okay, sure. All right, fine.
So if you followed along with us with Doomsday Clock and everything, you will know that Dr. Manhattan, hadn't called Professor, go me. Dr. Manhattan, Wally West, the original Wally West, not Wallace
Not Wallace,
West.
but Wally, yeah.
Wally confronted Dr. Manhattan, and he said, I don't know who you are, I don't know why you're doing this, but they will stop you. And Manhattan went, push, and shoved Wally into the Speed Force and trapped him there.
Yeah.
Because the universe changed during Flashpoint, and it is Flashpoint that does it.
Yeah.
Wally never married Linda Park and never had his kids in the current universe.
Right.
So when Wally is pulled back into the rebirth reality, Wally now exists again, and he reconnects with all of the heroes, and Nightwing, and Starfire, and Arsenal, and all these heroes.
Arsenal being Red Arrow, or Speedy, if you want to call him that.
Yeah. All these heroes find a missing piece. Because Wally was a big part of the heart of the DC universe.
Remember, in Crisis on Infinite Earths, Barry had been killed.
Right.
There was a Flash to replace him as Wally West. In fact, my Flash growing up was Wally West. It wasn't Barry. It wasn't Barry because Barry had been dead for. When I started reading, Barry had just died, so he was dead for 25 years. Literally before I really picked him back up again. Was it 20 or 25 years? It's been a long time. A long time when Barry was dead. So
most of the modern continuity of Flash, except for about the last 10 years, has been Wally.
Right. And Kid Flash was Impulse, was Bart from the far future. Yeah.
So
Bart.
When they decided to do the diversity line, they eliminated Wally, brought back Barry, and made the Wally character black.
Yeah. They made him Linda's cousin.
Right.
Yeah.
And he has exactly the same backstory and exactly the same worship of Barry and everything.
The way he got his power is different, though. Because Wally he basically wanted to recreate the laboratory accident and kind of model himself, because he was Kid Flash. He wanted to model himself after Barry. That was the big deal. But yes, exactly. That's how Wally got his start. But Wallace is different. And of course, they called him Wally until recently. Now they call him Wallace because it's different. Because now there's
they brought
3 Flashes.
Right. There's
multiple.
There's
Flashes.
tons of Flashes.
There's no Jesse Quick and been around. Jesse Quick is stuck in the Speed Force, and so is Jay Garrick still, right?
Jay Garrick somewhere.
Well, I think we're going to see him in Dark Knight's Death Metal too, apparently.
I hope so.
Because I love Jay
I
Garrick.
hope so.
He's fun.
I would have to say Jay Garrick probably hasn't been an active character during my lifetime that I've read comics.
He was in JSA while you're reading comics, but if you didn't read the JSA line, you wouldn't know.
Right.
Yeah. So.
But I'm sort of obsessed with Jay Garrick, which has nothing to do with Heroes in Crisis, and I'm sorry we've run a trail.
That's a line.
So Wally has been trapped in the Speed Force. The universe is reformed around this new reality. Manhattan moved Alan Scott's lantern away, moves it back. This reforms the Rebirth universe where we have Superman that was the original Superman. We have this modified Batman. And most importantly, Wally doesn't really fit anywhere anymore.
No.
And the funny thing is they brought him back in DC Universe Rebirth Special, and we really don't see him again until, briefly in Doomsday Clock, which they delayed Doomsday Clock for this. Or they delayed this for Doomsday Clock.
It was both. They essentially, Doomsday Clock got pushed to 2 years because this was coming out as well.
Right.
So there was a lot going on in the background.
So Wally goes to Sanctuary. because he's come back to the universe and he has this profound sense of loss because he doesn't have his wife and he doesn't have his kids. And Linda Park doesn't know who the hell he is.
So what is Sanctuary? Sanctuary is created by the Trinity, by Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. And Sanctuary is created as a place where all heroes and some villains, if they want to, can go and just talk to the computer and say...
Well, and there's a robotic version of Ma and Pa Kent
Right.
and Lana Lang, even though that's not their names, that are the automated servants. You're there, and when you're there, you're wearing a mask and a robe, so no one knows who you are, and you go into these talking head therapy sessions.
Doing confessionals, essentially, is what it is.
And you talk through your problems, and the Sanctuary, the automated program of Sanctuary, helps you to come to terms with your trauma.
Now, it's supposed to erase the information after 24
Actually,
hours.
it doesn't erase it. It breaks it into to billions of bytes and scatters it. So Wally goes here,
And they have a holodeck.
and they have a holodeck where you can play out whatever you need.
Yeah.
So Wally goes here, and this is the whole story of Heroes in Crisis. What I'm about to give you is the whole story, and you really don't find out until issue 7 or 8. But this is the whole thing. Wally goes there. Wally can't come to terms with his trauma. Wally runs out of the building to get some fresh air. It sets off a bunch of alarms. He has essentially a panic attack. And you find out that basically the Flashes all of the time are holding in all the power, all that lightning of the Speed Force. All of the current residents of Sanctuary, which includes Roy Harper,
Which has been one of his best friends in the world. Yep.
Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, and a whole bunch of others come and they're kind of standing around him, and he, rah, no, and loses it. Lightning strikes all of them except for Booster Gold and Harley, who are still in the simulations.
Okay, he doesn't mean to kill them. It's a complete accident.
It's a complete accident. He kills them with Force Lightning. Speed Force Lightning.
Speed Force Lightning.
Force Lightning.
Jedi, yeah.
Yeah, he's a Jedi. So they're dead. He realizes what he's done. He's horrified. And his reaction, while he's trying to figure out what to do, is because Harley and Booster are still in their simulators, he quickly reprograms their simulators so that Harley sees Booster kill everybody and Booster sees Harley kill everybody. And then he, in a matter of seconds, goes to all these digital servers and recreates all of the confessionals of all the heroes, Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, everybody who's ever been to Sanctuary, and emails them to the press, to Lois Lane. So Lois Lane goes public because she has to, because
It's her
if
responsibility.
not, somebody else would.
Right.
And Superman and Wonder Woman come forward and kind of confront the world that, yes, we're imperfect.
Batman wouldn't admit anything.
And basically, all the build-up from issue 1 to issue 6 or 7, when you get the reveal of what actually happened, is Flash and Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman trying to figure out what happened. And Flash thinks that Harley did it, or Batman thinks Harley did it. Flash thinks Booster did it. Booster and Harley are both trying to catch the other one and prove they're innocent. It's actually a really fun read.
Let's say it was a murder.
Clayman could draw Batgirl forever for me.
Oh,
she looked amazing in this.
It was a murder mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And more confirmation that Barbara was actually shot and at one point in time paralyzed. You see a panel where she shows the bullet wound in the front and in the back.
But there's never been an explanation as to how she healed. Never. In anything we've ever read. Because when in Rebirth, Barbara's back to running around being Batgirl.
Yep.
There's no talk of Orphan. There's no talk of the fact that...
And yet, both Spoiler and Orphan are in this.
Right. It's like...
Stephanie says, they won't talk about me. They never do.
Well, she's right. They don't. I mean, so...
She's the dirty secret of the Marvel Universe.
She is, which is weird. She
I
was
know.
Robin and she was Batgirl.
I love Stephanie Brown.
Yeah, I know. She's pretty awesome. So, but she's with Tim and he's weird.
And he calls himself Drake. Yeah. I mean, he's just one step from bashing her face in and then, yeah.
That's
turning
Chris
into-
Brown. That's Chris Brown.
Oh,
No,
well.
that's not Drake. It's Chris Brown. Drake's the good guy. Chris Brown's the... Anyway, so...
In no situation is Drake.
The best part is Batgirl and Harley talking to each other. And Harley, and she's like, no killing. Wait, no killing.
I'll just murder him a bit.
No.
No, that's killing,
That's
Harley.
killing.
I'll just massacre him a bit. No, that's killing
that's
too.
Still killing. You can't do that.
No, the best part of that is they're talking. So, Booster and Harley are fighting, and Ted's like, "Don't worry about it. She can't really hurt him. He's got a shield." And she was like, Barbara says, "Well, I thought his shield was
BAM!"
broken." Well, hold on, you just spoiled the whole damn thing. Yeah. And he says, "Well, yeah, I fixed it by connecting it to my ship." And Barbara just kind of casually looks at him and says, "The ship that's connected to your consciousness?" He says, "Yeah." And then panel with no words, and she just goes, "Bonk," and knocks Ted Cord out. And I was like, there's so many light and fun panels like that.
So I remember reading this and talking to you about it, and like, because one of my favorite things in the world is Ted and Booster. I mean, they're Booster Gold and Blue Beetle. They've been friends for so long. It's been epically amazing. I mean,
bros before heroes.
They literally were like, and they didn't become friends until they would join the Justice League together. Then they're like. Then you don't realize Ted's a billionaire at this point. No one does, and he's complaining about not having money to buy a CD player. And then one day, at one point, she goes, "Wait, you're a billionaire? You could have paid for all this stuff." So yeah, that's
so where this leaves you is Wally owning what he did, and a whole bunch of dead heroes, including Arsenal, who stays dead.
But Wally went into the future and then came back and killed himself.
The only person who's resurrected is Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
And I would encourage you to read how she was resurrected, because it actually is
pretty interesting.
Kind of an interesting take.
She basically engineered a way for her to come back.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, she engineered a way for her to come back.
Her in the green.
Yeah, in the green, exactly. Which then can convert itself. Anyway, it's weird. The Harley Poison Ivy run was pretty good. I mean, not amazing, but pretty good. And the story of the two of them together, they really, it's the Booster and Ted story. They're really BFFs. I mean, At one point they were lovers in the 52.
And I actually really like Barbara Gordon and Harley because Harley's a little older than her.
Yeah.
But Barbara's the sane one. It's just a really, really great story. Guys, I totally encourage you to read Heroes in Crisis. And I did boil it down to basically a very small, 5-minute plot synopsis. But the reason I did that and kind of
14 minutes,
kind of stopped, well, because you talked for 9, and kind of stopped us from building on everything that happened in all the pages is that you need the emotional connection to what you're reading here. If there's a book that could teach empathy, this is one of them.
So issue 1 comes around. I remember telling David, I'm like, "Oh my God." He's like, "What?" I said, I cried. He's like, "Why?" I said, "They killed Roy Harper. You can't kill..."
Well, at that point, we thought they killed Roy Harper and Wally West.
Yeah, we're like,
and I'm like,
Wally's dead.
Wally was back for like 2 minutes. What the hell?
No, and literally, we were both like, "Oh my God, how did they do this?" And of course, then you figure what's really going on. The best part is that he punishes himself. He gives himself up, puts himself in prison, and so basically he's in Blackgate. Is that what it was?
Yes.
Blackgate prison.
Which is where Flash Forward picks up.
Right.
Which will be the last. How did we get here that we're going to do?
Yeah, that's a brand new. How did we get here?
Yeah. So next week we should be doing Flash Forward.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm gonna have to read issues since I can't seem to get my hands on a trade.
I don't feel bad. It's DC with the thing.
Yeah.
Flash Forward really, genuinely was a phenomenal book that no one picked up because they're like, more Flash. Someone.
I read the first issue. So, guys, the funny thing about Heroes in Crisis is we actually did review all 9 issues.
Yeah, I mean,
you can go back and find the week that they read and listen to our in-depth review of each one.
Because they're so good.
They were very, very good.
Yeah, so. and like they were monthly though, right?
Yes.
It did 9 months, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, but every time you come in, you're like,
it actually I think took 10 or 11 because of the delay.
Because delay for the connection
Doomsday
with Doomsday Clock. So if you haven't read either one, for the love of God. They're not hard to find. They're not that expensive. Go pick them all up. I promise you'll enjoy.
And they look really handsome if you collect trades.
Yeah, they do. I mean,
they look very handsome sitting on a shelf.
Even without the slipcover, it's still a nice book. Yeah, I mean, these are
Booster on the couch.
Yeah, Booster.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for listening.
That was Blue Beetle. There they go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's fun.
All right.
Later.
Okay, love you, bye.
So just for the people.
Just for the YouTube?
Just for the YouTubers. Yeah. See. I love these two guys. They're two stupid, fun, great heroes.
I think Tom King was really trying hard to get us an ongoing Booster and Blue Beetle series.
It could happen. I mean, they're talking about bringing, what's his name, Grifter back to the universe.
Well, they're not talking about it. It's happening. I like Grifter.
Why?
Because Jim Lee.
Well, I got Jim Lee, but it's great. So what? He's got a red mask. Ooh boy. Not even a mask, like a sheet on his face. Okay, but his hangs down. Yours is better. Yours at least comes up. Look, he could be a villain or a hero. It doesn't matter. He's just got a sheet in his face.
There's a reason I ordered a red face mask.
Yeah, red hood. You're right.
Yeah.